Every great champion knows that success, overcoming, and winning in life is no accident. Creating individual success is like having a recipe for a great meal. It only works if you know how to use the ingredients. As a best-selling author, entrepreneur, business coach, strategist, and champion, the Lewis Howard Live Show provides you the insider's view on winning. All we do is win, 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 helping you become the best version of yourself. Hey, welcome to another edition of Lewis Howard Live. Thank you for being part of the conversation. You know, if you ask anybody about 2020, most people say 2020 is the best, worst year in decades. You know, I've spoken with professionals and non-professionals alike, and they all say the same. The pandemic has had some type of negative impact on families, business, personal life, relationships, in small to major ways. But I've also talked to people that 2020 has been a good year in many respects. There's been many new opportunities and new things that have come along, but also hear the people a little bit shy or a little bit embarrassed about talking about the good things because the world is so consumed with the negative, and rightfully so. I mean, anytime people lose their lives and we've got what's going on, that's a serious thing. But life doesn't stop. Babies are born every day in the middle of a pandemic. And so there's always something good. So we want to do a new thing called My Favorite People, Places, and Things. And I'll tell you what, I've experienced personal losses this year. I've had everything from fires to floods. I mean, I have had it go on in 2020. Let me tell you, it didn't leave much out for me. But we've also had some new ventures, new opportunities. Where I'm doing the show right now is a new venture in studio. This fabulous facility that we're broadcasting, that you're listening to us right now, is part of the new thing that has happened. And so I hope that you're one of those people that don't leave 2020 broke down, need a checkup from the neck up because you're in trouble, but leave 2020 with a reset and a new focus, because that's what I'm going to do, and I hope that you do the same. Tonight, we're just excited. We've got a kickoff of, as I said, our favorite things, and we're going to be doing some new things on the show. It's going to be new food, jewelry, cars, gear, artists, creativity. We're really going to expand it and take it in a new direction. So we're excited to kick off tonight because we've got a special guest right after the break that we're going to talk with. He is an entrepreneur. He's part of a major family in the West Seattle area, and he's had an impact on the business community for a long period of time, and on the entertainment business. We'll tell you what that's like. You don't want to go anywhere. You want to stay with us right after this segment. We've got him here live in studio. Don't you go anywhere.
Lewis Howard of Lewis Howard Live has partnered with Amazon Books to bring you his dynamic, life-changing book. From Here to There is the best-selling biopic journey of Lewis Howard's road from adopted child in poverty to achieving over $1 billion in real estate assets. Lewis shares his secrets and principles, which helped make his meteoric rise to the top an inspiration to millions. Lewis Howard, From Here to There, available on Amazon Books at createspace.com/450-6888. Get it today.
Hey, this is Lewis Howard Live. Thank you for being part of the conversation. As I mentioned in the monologue and opening, we've got a new segment called My Favorite People, Places, and Things. What a name for a segment. I don't think anybody's got that. You can Google that. I think we're the first with that one, right? And we're going to make this thing just exciting. It'll probably be one of the most exciting things that you don't want to miss any show when we're doing My Favorite Things. And so tonight, we are joined by a local business entrepreneur, family man, business owner, and part of the Menashe & Sons Jewelry Enterprise in West Seattle. Welcome to Lewis Howard Live. Josh Menashe, welcome to the program, my friend.
Hey, thanks. Nice to be here tonight.
Hey, we're excited that you're the first guest on the favorite things and people. And of course, you got a lot of favorite things we're going to be talking about. And but I think, first of all, we're going to introduce you to the listeners and maybe just take a little bit and introduce you and your family and the history of the Menashe & Sons jewelry business. It is probably one of the biggest impactful business in West Seattle. and just share a little bit about how that began and really what is the mission and kind of the theme and the model of your family's business.
You know, we built that business on quality, beautiful commitment to our customers, and relationships. And relationships mean so much today. And in a small community of West Seattle, it has been such a pleasure to serve the people of West Seattle and throughout the inner parts of Seattle and this great city, the Emerald City, that we would need to get back.
Yeah, absolutely.
That, you know, we're going through some ups and downs right now, and it has been a tough year. But this is going to be an up-and-coming year that we really want to grow, we want to work hard, we want to build, and we want to, you know what? What's next for Seattle?
Sure. And so how did that get to be? I mean, you guys have been there since what, 1973, you said?
1973, my dad bought the store, just married to my mom for a year, was real nervous. You know, he was opening up his own place.
New entrepreneur.
Oh, man, new entrepreneur, you know, doing his own thing. Didn't have much of a store, you know, to begin with, came from a big jewelry background. And there was a local family that helped out my dad named the Golub family. And they were a big Jewish family that was in more the manufacturing side of the jewelry business, the wholesale side of it.
Sure.
So he kind of really mentored my dad and brought in some great inventory for my dad at a very good price.
Interesting. The thing about I remember my first experience going into the store. It looks just like a simple storefront when you walk into it. There's nothing exceptional about the outside of it, but when you walk in, you feel like you just walked into Disneyland.
Yeah, you know, my dad loves having inventory, and he loves to have our place look like a museum. So he really is into his collections. You know, we do all the big facets of the diamond business, the rubies, all the big colored stones. But one thing that my dad really has done is we're still loyal to jade jewelry and amber and turquoise and all the old things of jewelry that you don't really find everywhere out there. You know, where it's a one-stop shopping at Menashe's.
Yeah. So that's an interesting question. Brings up like bridging the old school versus new school, right? So we watch all the hip hop videos, and these guys are iced out, they're blinged out, and are you reaching that group as well? How do they buy jewelry? What's their thing?
They know bling, and I'm going to tell
Absolutely
you, those guys, from their necklaces to their pinky rings to their diamond encrusted teeth to, just the fun styles, though. It's a fun, unique look, and each one has their own little side of what they like for their featured piece, whether it be a necklace or a big ring or a bracelet.
Yeah, when I grew up, you just had a necklace. If you had a necklace, you was cool. Now these guys got to be insured by Lloyd's of London with all the stuff that they're wearing.
They're partners in some of these diamond mines. These boys are big hitters.
So we were talking about it offset about grills. Right?
You know what? The grill business is quite interesting. The artist down here at Mob Studios, Desmond Hansen, I just polished his grill up for him. And, what you do is you have your customer go to your dentist, and he takes a mock-up and gives me the specs, and then I can run that on a CAD design and build a grill, and we can mix stones or, different gems in them. And it's a real interesting part to see these guys' different personalities.
Wow. Well, we're going to have some of these folks on the show. Of course, we're doing our favorite things. We'll definitely got to see some of this because this is like definitely unique and distinctive.
I would love to come back and bring back a bunch of really cool jewelry sometime. And,
absolutely.
And me and you do a fun jewelry show. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got to get some of those diamonds out the vault. We'll bring them out so our listeners can
I think I got something.
Yeah,
I think I have something on for you, Mr. Lewis.
Yeah, I
a big ring me.
Look, I'm getting addicted already, right?
Yeah.
So let's a little bit more on the series. So obviously we're in a pandemic. We've had worldwide impact of economics. We have politics. We got all this going on, and especially businesses that have been impacted. So how has the pandemic affected your business and your enterprise? The
pandemic you have seen, your everyday clients that, walk through clients is down. But, we're getting a lot of really cool private appointments and calls and, people that can't find it out there online. They love to check with their local jeweler and check in on things that you can't shop. And that's one thing that you can't do with everything at our store.
Yeah. I think one of the things you said earlier is about relationships, right?
Yeah.
This is where relationships come in handy, because if you start, 1973, you got to be dealing with, first generation, second generation, and getting into third generation. And so they know. And so now you've got that built in sort of relationships, right?
Oh, sure. Meeting some of my dad's customers and then taking over some of their kids as the next generation and working with them. It's relationships are everything. You have to have great relationships in your business, and it's been really fun meeting and working with other people and learning about their business.
Sure.
With how it kind of can coincide with the jewelry business.
Yeah.
It's really been fun to network and really meet all different walks of life and in many different angles of the jewelry business.
Yeah. Hey, if you just joined us, we're having a conversation with Josh Menashe and Menashe & Son Jewelers, talking about favorite things and just a history of the jewelry business and how his family is done in that. Josh, maybe I'm always into stories, right? So what's some of the famous stories maybe of celebrities or couples or, people that came in and purchased something from the jewelry store?
One that comes to mind is one of my favorite local big artists here in Seattle named Dale Chihuly. He was quite an interesting person to deal with and has an incredible eye to buy estate jewelry, has a good vision of what he likes, an interesting flair. And years ago, I sold him a beautiful paint palette ring that was really a cool piece that reminded me of something that he might do in his business. So, it's been really a special treat to have somebody like that come in my store and being able to mentor me and to see all the great years he's done for Seattle and what he's done all over the world.
Yeah, and for our listeners who don't know who Dale Chihuly is, you've probably been on another planet, but he's like the king of glass making. Anything glass, this guy has made it. World famous, museums. It's just Google it. That's all I can tell you. Because that's a name among names in that. So what does the future look like? Obviously West Seattle's going through some change. It's called the island of West Seattle now, no bridge, and yet people are so loyal. They're third generation people and families over there. So what do you see for the future of businesses and enterprises over in that area?
I think the future of West Seattle has a huge upside. Even with the bridge being down, so many of the people in the community, because of relationships and years of business and whatnot, are still loyal to your local community stores. Whether it's Easy Street Records, whether it's Husky Deli, whether it's Capers, whether it's, Elliott Bay Brewery. There's so many great ones. And
or Dick's Burgers, who pull up and set up a mobile shop.
What a wild thing that was.
Are you kidding me? For our listeners, Dick's Burgers is the local hamburger place here for eons, right? So they have a mobile setup, and they went to West Seattle, and they set up right outside of Easy Street Records, which we're going to have Matt on the show as well. Yeah. And it was crazy.
Yeah.
I thought they were giving away money. I saw so many people in line.
It was around the block from the minute they opened till the minute they closed. I think what would be really great is Dick's should look at putting a big office to sell hamburgers and cheeseburgers in West Seattle.
It sounds like that Seattle is West Seattle's a big market for them, and they always do these big surveys on where they're going to do it. Folks, if you haven't had a Dick's Burger, it's usually after you come from the club and the bar late at night. But Bill Gates has had them. Anybody can be seen at Dick's Burgers on any given Saturday or Sunday. So it's a huge following, and certainly that's a shout out for West Seattle because the turnout was absolutely
fantastic.
It's great. And lastly, one of the different things you guys do with the Menashe & Sons that I've never even heard of, just how you allow customers to buy and pay for jewelry. I still can't even believe when I heard that. Just how, from a relationship standpoint.
My dad runs the business and built our business on a handshake deal. And he trusts and holds his end of the bargain. and they hold up their end of the bargain. You have a great working relationship. We've been able to build our business through private financing. And I'm going to tell you, that's one thing that we need to get back to in America is some of the old tactics that built America.
Sure.
And as a small entrepreneur business that we are at Menashe & Sons, you can still have some of those small things that make the big things.
It really is, and I agree with you. I think we need to get back when a man or woman's word was their bond. You can count on that.
100%, Lou. I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
that really is what you have is your word.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to carry Josh over because we got another part of this conversation. We want to talk about this thing called Mob Studios that he's also a partner in. So stay with us. You're listening to Lewis Howard Live. We're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. We'll be right back after these short messages.
The Millionaire Club charity is one of Seattle's oldest existing charities. In addition to job placement and employment services, the Millionaire Club provides job training and licensing to help workers become qualified and job ready, from nutritious meals and sack lunches to housing assistance to stabilize their lives. Despite its name, the donors to the Millionaire Club are ordinary citizens with a desire and passion to help fellow citizens overcome the barriers of employment and housing. For more information, call 206-728-JOBS. or go to millionaireclub.org.
Hey, this is Lewis Howard Live. Thank you for joining us. What a great conversation today. Would you agree? We got the man, the myth, the jewelry king of West Seattle and Alki joining us. And so for all you fellows out there that's thinking about getting engaged and popping the question, you might want to pop into Menashe & Sons Jewelers and get the rock, all right? That'll do that.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Absolutely. That's what I hear. And the bigger the rock, the bigger the friend. Hey, Josh, the other thing we want to talk about is that you're one of the lead partners and investors in this thing called Mob Studios that we're doing this show from. And what a cool, just opposite concept from the jewelry business and everything else that you guys are involved in. Tell us a little bit about Mob Studios and how this really came to be, because this is kind of a cool thing as well.
Mob Studios has always been somewhat of a dream of mine to be around the music business and to be sometime a manager. I always wanted to be a manager in the music business someday. So, meeting Zachariah Villette and seeing the talent that this kid had, I said, God, it'd be great to have his own studio and produce some of his music and see a lot of his creative skills.
Right.
And the vision that I see here is a complete vision of what my dad has taught me at the jewelry store, is creativity, going out of the box, doing things different, and doing things that like you and I have done, Lou, is an interesting relationship that we're going to be friends for a long time.
Yeah.
I am really honored to be on the show tonight with you. This is a great show.
Well, we're excited because you're kicking off a cool segment, and it's just interesting. I mean, it's real, it's interesting, it's right in the flow of what we do for the show. So, we love it.
This is great. And, Mob Studios with recordings and podcasts and live streams and all the different aspects of even production and video. And, it's really a place where we want to build into Seattle's next music factory.
Yeah.
And I want to really be involved and put the people together and get some of the big, powerful musicians of Seattle, because I think Seattle is such a powerful music city.
Yeah, and it's a really different facility than I've ever been in. I've been to Melrose Avenue. I've been to Sunset Studios. I've been on some big studios. And folks, it's very different studios, all I could say. I mean, it's like almost walking into like a Miami nightclub scene or something, right? Yeah. It's so diversified, and yet you got some expensive high-tech toys here. We're doing a podcast from it. You've had artists in. So tell me some of the people that maybe you work with or that come through the studio, or some people you're looking to kind of partner up and do business with.
I really want to partner up with a guy by the name of Lee Papa and Matt Vaughn, and we have a nonprofit that we work for to help some of the inner city kids called the Progress Pushers. Lewis Howard, of course.
Of course.
You yourself. I like Little Mosey. Is another gentleman we want to do some work with and working with.
And I have to tell you on that story, because he was here in the studio and I happened to be here. And of course, I go to my office on Monday and I tell my front desk person, I was there, and this guy, little Mosey, was here, and she almost dropped her latte and said, "What? Are you kidding me? Stop it. You didn't call me?" I didn't realize how big he is, but boy, what a big artist. I mean,
Boy, I said something to my daughter, Angelina,
yeah.
and I was really shocked that, because she's a little TikTok queen, Angelina. You got to get off that TikTok. But she was, really awestruck by who was down here too, and the up and coming career that he has ahead of him.
Yeah.
And I want Mob Studios to be that up and coming next studio that you can travel to and get creative and really kind of do things the Mob way.
Yeah. And you've got kind of a unique location for Mob Studios. It's not in a high-rise building. It's not on Rodeo Drive or Westlake, or it's in Soto, which is kind of gritty. Just a place that you from the outside. I had my physician come and we did an interview, and he goes, "I thought I was in the wrong place because it doesn't look like anything from the outside, but you step in and you go, wow."
Wow, yeah. That's really what we want to do, is the wow factor. And you come in right off the train tracks, and you walk in a door, and you're kind of like, wow, I am in a pretty cool little place here.
Yeah.
And it really kind of spins you into the thought process to work hard and do things that can elevate.
Yeah, I think it plays off a lot of the theme in the music, which is gritty, it's real, it's not polished, it's not stage 8, put together with makeup and stuff. A lot of the new, younger generation, they want it gritty, they want it raw, they want it on the street.
Oh, yes.
And so, that's lending itself to that. Anything else you want to share with us on Mob Studio? I mean, just so much. We'll continue to have these conversations in the future, and obviously we're going to have artists and some things going down there. But what are some of your big goals that you want to really accomplish with the studio that you and your partners have put in?
That's awesome. We were just in a meeting tonight with some of my business partners here at the studio, and I want to build a couple big albums in the next 6 months, and I want to build up the record label and really kind of set some tones for the musicians here that I think that we have in our stable.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I think there's some great opportunity to bring back that next Macklemore to Seattle.
Yeah,
I want to find that next big ace in the hole. And there's some diamonds in the rough that we have.
Yeah.
I love diamonds, and I think
go.
that diamonds are
there you go.
special tool.
He just married his business together, diamonds and creativity.
Yeah.
So, hey, if you're out there, maybe you got some budding artists out there, and you got some talent, you got some abilities. Hey, in Seattle might be the place you want to get that place launched. Hey, Josh, thanks for joining us tonight. We really appreciate the conversation. Obviously, it's not the end. We're going to have you back because we need to see some of these jewels come in live. And so we're going to have our listeners entertained by some of these great things. I mean, it's the holidays, so I know you guys are busy, but we want to have you back and get you on the show as soon as we can and kind of continue to have this conversation.
It's a pleasure for me to be here. I was very hit hard in the heart. Louis, this was a special night. And thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to seeing you again and really splashing you with some diamonds and some jewels, too.
Hey, we love it. The Lewis Howard Live audience creates and loves the partnership and the opportunity to do that. Hey, thanks for joining us for another conversation. We appreciate you spending time. And as always, we want to give you one thought, one idea, one concept that helps you become the best version of yourself. Remember, you can get us on the YouTube channel, Lewis Howard Live. You can get us on Facebook. We're doing live every Mondays, so you can't miss us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Remember, sharing is caring. We want to make sure that you reach out and make a difference to your friends around the world. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you on another edition of Lewis Howard Live.